Watch the door. Not the argument. Not the words. The door. Because 4 seconds before someone with an avoidant attachment style walks out of a room, something already happened, and almost nobody catches it. It looks like this. A conversation is going somewhere real. Maybe you said something honest. Maybe you asked a question that mattered. And then, in the space of about 4 seconds, the room changes. Second one, they go still. Not calm, still. The kind of stillness that isn't rest. Second two, they break eye contact. Not dramatically. They look at a wall, a phone, a spot on the floor. Second three, their voice flattens. Whatever warmth was there a minute ago drains out of it, and what's left sounds almost polite. Second four, they find a reason. Water, a phone call, air, something small and unarguable. And then they're gone. Here's what you saw. Someone who stopped caring mid-conversation. Here's what actually happened. Their nervous system finished a calculation they weren't aware of making, and it came back with one instruction. Get out. Those two things look identical from the outside. They are not the same thing at all. Avoidant attachment doesn't start in relationships. It starts much earlier, in a house where emotional need got a specific kind of answer. Not always cruelty. Often something quieter. A parent who changed the subject. A parent who got uncomfortable. A parent who was warm about achievement and vague about feelings. A child learns fast. This part of me makes things worse. So the child does something reasonable. They put that part away. They become self-sufficient early, and everyone praises them for it. Mature, independent, no trouble at all. What no one sees is the trade. They didn't get rid of the need. They got rid of the asking. And a need you're not allowed to ask for doesn't disappear. It goes underground and becomes an alarm. Which is why this only shows up when things go well. Distance is easy for them. Conflict is easy. Casual is easy. What's hard is the exact moment someone gets close enough to matter. Because closeness is when the old file opens. The one that says, when you need someone, you end up alone with it. That's the 4 seconds. That's what's happening in the stillness. Their body detected intimacy and read it as exposure. And the fastest way to end exposure is to leave the room. Not you, the room. And here's the part that explains almost everything you've been confused about. There's a difference between not wanting something and not being able to tolerate it. Not wanting is a preference. You can talk to a preference. You can negotiate with it, meet in the middle, ask it to try. Not being able to tolerate is a threshold. It doesn't respond to reasoning because it isn't a decision. It's a reflex that fires before the decision. Almost everyone who has loved an avoidant person has spent months treating a threshold like a preference, explaining more clearly, being more patient, making the case better, and it never worked, and you assumed you were doing it wrong. You weren't. You were arguing with something that isn't listening in the language you were speaking. So go back to those 4 seconds. The stillness wasn't indifference. It was a body bracing. The broken eye contact wasn't dismissal. Eye contact at close range is the most intense form of contact there is, and they were already over the line. The flat voice wasn't coldness. It was everything getting turned down all at once, the bad and the good together, because the switch doesn't have settings. And the reason they found to leave wasn't a lie exactly. It was the only sentence available. Because the true sentence, I can't be in here right now and I don't know why, is one they've never once been given the words for. Now the part you actually came here for. You were not too much. You didn't push too hard, ask too early, or want more than a person should want. What you did was get close. That's it. That's the entire crime. You have probably spent a long time editing yourself down, needing less, saying less, waiting longer before bringing something up. And it didn't fix it, because it was never a volume problem. Someone with a low threshold for closeness will hit that threshold at any volume. You could have asked for half of what you asked for, and the 4 seconds would still have happened, just later. That's not a comfortable thing to hear, but it's better than the version where you were the problem. And this is where it has to be said clearly. Understanding why someone leaves the room is not the same as being able to keep them in it. You can know every mechanism in this video and still not be able to change a single one of those 4 seconds, because they don't belong to you. That threshold was built long before you existed by people you never met, which means the only real question was never, how do I get them to stay? The question is what you do with the room. Because there's a version of this where you spend years learning to speak more softly, ask more carefully, and take up less space, and slowly become someone who's never fully in the room either. That's the actual risk here. Not that they leave, that you stay by disappearing. So watch the 4 seconds, learn what they are, stop taking them personally, and then notice something. You're still in the room. You didn't leave when it got close. You didn't need an exit. That was never nothing. It's just that you were measuring yourself against someone who couldn't do it, and calling the difference a flaw.